Hello everyone! Today I'm sharing a story from a young woman. I'd like to share this with you all. And if you find it interesting, please leave a comment to share your perspective. Alright, now for this young woman's remarkable story. She shares that this year she is 38 years old and she has been married for the second time to a husband who is currently 3 years younger than her. And she has a child of her own daughter, who is 12 years old. From her previous husband. My previous marriage was left unfinished because my husband passed away early. Then I was set up with this second husband. I mean, he is 3 years younger than me, but he is also very gentle and hardworking, 35 years old, and had never been married. Plus, the fact that he also had a stable job, and he seemed to really love my daughter. So, I felt that everything was very stable. So I decided to, start a family again, with him hoping to give my child a better life. At first, honestly, I thought things were fine, because he really loved my daughter. And he was also a gentle, hard-working person, just as the matchmaker had told me. But there was just one thing that I found unsettling, and I also found it, very strange. That is, after we had settled into our work and life for a while, I felt that I wanted to have a baby, to strengthen the bond between us as husband and wife. But I noticed that he seemed to be avoiding it. He didn't want to. After that, while he was working near our home, which was very convenient for our daily life, he suddenly requested a transfer to a new job, nearly 100 kilometers away. He asked for it himself and separated himself from us. I just don't understand why he did that, but I found it very strange. He moved completely away from his wife and child. Then he just started living there, only coming home every once in a while. Well, you know, as a woman, and when I remarried, I also wanted to have someone to lean on. And of course, I'm still young. So, honestly, I really wanted to be intimate with my husband. But I felt that we were very distant. And I mean, there were times when my husband and we barely even touched each other at all, because he used the excuse that he was working far away. And then when he came home to visit, he'd claim he was tired, right? During that time, I also, because I was so deprived of affection, I made a mistake. I started talking to, and you could say, had an emotional affair with a male colleague, but nothing ever crossed the line. We were only just talking. Then my husband found out. But instead of getting angry, the normal reaction for a man when he's jealous is to get angry, right? But he was just very indifferent, then apathetic and cold, and then he just let it go. So a lot of these signs started to add up, and I just couldn't understand the reason why my husband and I were like that. Then one day, by chance, I happened to see his phone, and there were so many messages and pictures exchanged with that one man. That's when it all dawned on me. It turns out that all this time, my husband has only been attracted to men, and he married me as a cover-up. I mean, he just wanted to put his parents' minds at ease, and he was also good to my child. It was also with the intention that, since he couldn't have his own children, then later on, by being good to my child, he would see them as his own. So that when he gets old, my child will take care of him. He would see my child as his own, so that when he gets old, my child will take care of him. So now, to be honest with you, this second time I remarried, I had placed so much hope in it. I'm not young anymore, but I'm not that old either. But to live a life with a husband that he had no need for intimacy and no need for affection like this. And on top of that, he was in a romantic relationship with another man. For me, something like this is just truly unacceptable. But now, if we break up and get a divorce, I'd also be very sad, because it took me a very long time, a lot of thought. It was only after my first husband passed away that I finally dared to remarry. After I saw that message, I confronted him directly. I talked to him straight away, because really, at this point, if I just, endured it, it wouldn't change a thing. We had to be clear about it. I told him, now, if you've decided to take a wife, then, no matter what your orientation is, you have to be responsible for your family, for the person you married, and if not, then, as a last resort, we'll have to set each other free from each other. Actually, my husband didn't intend to get a divorce. After he was found out, he apologized to me. And he also said that, honestly, his feelings for me, he is very fond of me. But in terms of his true nature, he doesn't love women. So when he was with me, he only had feelings like I was a kindred spirit, like a sort of a friend you live with. And he also, wanted to put his parents' minds at ease because they had been urging him to get married for a long time. Right. And secondly, he thought that since I wouldn't have the need to have more children because I already have my own. So when he was good to my child, that's why he chose me. Right? So, his choosing me was for reasons. Even though he was supposed to be a straight guy, modern and has everything he needs. Meaning he thought that since I already had my own child, he wouldn't have to have any more kids. Second, I'm also older, a full 3 years older than him. So maybe with everything, I would be more patient and I would just accept that kind of life as long as I had a family. So my child could have a father. But honestly, to accept a reason like that, I mean, to live out the rest of my life with a husband like him, it just feels so difficult. Because really, if from the very beginning it was a matter of him not being able to perform, then that would be a different story. But he can still do it. We can have a normal marital life. But of course, it's not passionate, not as intense as it would be with a truly straight man. What do you all think? Life is full of surprises, isn't it? First of all, if that's the case, it means he's not gay. He's bisexual, meaning he can go either way. He can be with women. He can also be with men. He just leans more passionately towards men. With people like this, if you're clever about it, it's really just that you haven't been lucky. Because even though he isn't a passionate lover, you only need to be intimate once or twice. And on the day you're ovulating, and if he's capable of becoming a father, you can still have a child. It's not like you can't have one. This man can still have children normally. He's actively preventing it. He doesn't want to get tied down. He doesn't want a child. Honestly, now that this is all out in the open, can anything even happen when we lie next to each other anymore? The truth is, she's become emotionally numb to it all, because they've been distant for a long time. And they never really got to know each other that well to begin with. And just when, let's say, the husband and wife got a little used to each other's presence, he left again. He moved a full 100 kilometers away, so she feels extremely deprived. He still provides enough money for his wife, for family expenses, and to raise their child. In that regard, he's very responsible, but working so far away, maybe in a month. He only comes home a few times, and when he does come home, it's just like they're two people who are just roommates. They eat a meal, then they chat, and then they sleep. At 35 years old, he can't have such a low libido that he's next to his wife and does nothing. Gradually, his true colors will be revealed, especially when he's far away like that. He has the opportunity to avoid being intimate with his wife, but he can go on dates with those friends of his in that place 100 kilometers away. He could just rent a room somewhere, and it's entirely possible that there are opportunities to go on dates with that friend. It's a situation you don't want, but it creates an opportunity for him to do what he likes. Right. Then you see on his phone, there are lots of flirty messages and affectionate pictures of them together. I think you need to stop and think. First, this has been going on for a long time. Second, you have a child. Together with him, and a husband and wife are also bound to each other financially. Right now, he is the breadwinner. If you leave him, you and your child would starve, for instance. So sometimes people have to make a trade-off. But in life, everyone's ultimate goal is to find happiness, and one of the things that brings happiness is that romantic, marital love. If I were old now, and I didn't even need that kind of intimacy anymore. If there's no intimacy, so be it. as long as I have a husband for the sake of appearances. Besides, every month, he just transfers money to me, so my child and I can eat, spend, have fun, and go shopping. Then maybe I'd just grin and bear it. But you're in the prime of your life. You have cravings too. You're only 38. Sometimes I joke, but you can eat a $14 pizza. But to be able to happily snuggle up next to a man, and feel like I'm a woman, that's also a form of happiness. For many women, because I'm also an understanding person. I didn't just fly off the handle and make a scene. Unlike some women who, when they find out something like this, what do they do at first? They label it as something perverted or claim he's mentally ill or something like that, and then just blow everything up, causing their husband to lose face. And then, a story like that. If it gets out and a lot of people know about it, things become much more complicated. Often, it's not even their fault. They're not violating any morals. They just weren't brave enough. Unlike some young people nowadays, they'll say, I'm gay, I'm part of the LGBT community, or something like that. I won't get married. Double quotes, just to make another woman miserable. I'd rather stay single. I'll work, earn money, and take care of my own life. And I'll date whoever I want, freely. No strings attached. But he's from that in-between generation, not Gen Z or whatever. He also faced the pressure that when a man reaches a certain age, he has to get a wife. If you don't get a wife, everywhere you go, people ask, why are you so picky? Why haven't you gotten married? What are you, gay or something? So his parents were really hoping for him to get married and have a child. That's why I wanted even more, to have a child. It would both please my parents, and also connect us as a couple. But in a situation like this, that's definitely not going to happen now. So in a way, it's a good thing. If I were pregnant with his child right now, I would just think, well, he's a good person, after all, and he hasn't done anything wrong, you see. And now, I'm carrying his child. He's the pride and joy of his parents. If I leave him now, it'll be so unfair to our child. So all of that just holds me back. But luckily, you two have only just gotten married. It's been a very short time. And there haven't been any major attachments formed that you'd have to fight over. You haven't had to buy anything together yet. No multi-million-dollar ranch, right? There's nothing tying you down, not financially, not with children. Yeah, I think the first option is to break up peacefully. I know that you'll be sad, but I'm a woman. I need to have a happy life. If I didn't know, it'd be one thing, but I know now. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for you, but to be intimate like a husband and wife, I just can't. I just imagine it every time we're like that. I imagine that you were just holding some other man, and now you're holding me. You know, I think I'd be haunted by that. A lot of women, when they find out their husband is having an affair, still feel a bit creeped out every time they're intimate. They think so. It turns out you hold other women behind my back. Just like this. Many of them just lose all feeling for it, let alone in this situation, which isn't exactly easy to accept right away. So, the first approach is to have a proper conversation and break up on peaceful terms. Of course, from your side, since you're the one initiating it, you won't be hurting as much. But he's the one who will have to deal with his family. Well, that's his battle to fight. He'll have to be brave and move on. You don't have to tell them the reason. You just have to say that you're not compatible, that he's still so young, and you want to set him free, so he can find a better marriage. And since you work so far apart, the feelings have also faded. So you could just tell both families that, even though I'm very fond of his parents, I really am. They're good, very kind people. They're also people who are well-educated, so I think they will understand. There is also another scenario. Some couples would resolve it. This way, he gets down on his knees. He apologizes, saying, you can do anything you want now. Just don't leave me. So I can have a family? Just for the label, you know. As for the rest, well, let's just say I'm willing to look the other way if you have another man. Meaning, I won't get jealous. Our marriage is just a front. You can be with some young guy or whoever it is that makes you happy and joyful. The thing is, I won't get jealous and I won't stop you. But don't leave me. The only thing I want is for you not to leave me, so that wherever I go, I can say, I have a wife and kids, so my life can be peaceful. That part works out for him. But not every woman would. Except that, for me now, I have a husband. And that's it. I know what the situation is, but I'd have to go around sneaking. You know, having an affair with some other man. But if by some chance it all gets exposed, I'm the one who gets a bad reputation. That would be me. See, so, but it means that in life, there can be many solutions to the same problem, right? Some people will solve it this way, and others will solve it that way. But in my case, I'm pretty sure I lean towards the first option, right? Stop it. Break up. I come from a well-educated family, you know? I don't think that even though he suggested it to me, that it means it's a case of what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, he probably can't provide the things that a husband is supposed to, so I can just do whatever I want, basically. But I think that, first of all, it's not morally right. And second, it's not sustainable. So, if by some chance, and I'm just saying by some chance a needle in a haystack will eventually be found, that I already have a family like that, but his family has no idea that the reason is this deal he and I discussed, and if it comes out, I'm the one who gets branded as the promiscuous woman. Secondly, if I stay in the marriage and then go find someone to satisfy my physical needs, then that means I'm overly focused on the sexual aspect. Like I'm just going to meet some young guy, and it makes me seem like I'm just needy. So I go out and meet someone. In reality, a husband and wife give each other so many things. A sense of warmth, a sense of honor, a social standing where you always go places together, introduce each other, two friends, and are proud of it. It's not just simply about that. It's not that this issue is unrelated to the other, but because this is just a temporary solution. A lot of husbands will suggest things like that to their wives. And there are some people who, given their circumstances, will reluctantly accept, meaning they don't want to divorce their husband if they're too financially dependent, or don't have a home of their own, and maybe they have a child. Or, two, they'll often just go along with it. The last option is to secretly cheat. Well, in that case, I think that in this misfortune, there's a silver lining. It's that the two of you got together without any major strings attached. So it's like walking a path together for a while. And when you realize you're not compatible, you just stop. Like saying, you keep going straight, and I'll turn left here. If you're not walking the same path, you'll eventually diverge. People will go their separate ways. As for what happens next, you just have to play it by ear. Who knows if you'll ever get married again or not? You just have to take life as it comes. But you can't because of some mistake. Knowing it's harmful, just try to turn a blind eye and let it pass. Hopefully, you can have a gentle breakup. And once you've stabilized your emotions, yes, another. Love will come along. There are people who get married at 70, 80. It's perfectly normal. Look, just before this, my niece. So, there was this woman, in her 50s, who came asking for advice. It was about her 76-year-old mother, who kept insisting on marrying an 80-year-old man. All right. Thank you, my dear. Wish you joy and happiness. Okay. And that's the end of the story. Goodbye, everyone. Remember to subscribe to the channel to hear a story every day.